Good morning. I am calling to order our regularly scheduled meeting of the Committee of the Whole. My name is Elizabeth Glidden, and I'm the chair of this committee. We are joined today by council members Gordon, Cano, Fry, Andrew Johnson, Yang, Warsami, and Reich, and we are a quorum of the committee. We have one consent item, and then we will move on to reports of committees for today. The consent item is an amendment and restatement of the City of Minneapolis Health Reimbursement Arrangement Plan, authorizing the execution of an amended and restated City of Minneapolis Health Reimbursement Arrangement Plan, including amendments to comply with the federal health care reform legislation and to revise administrative fee structure for accounts of plan members who have separated from service. I'll just note this is a fairly routine item of changes in compliance with some federal law items, and there has been work with our staff to meet with the Labor Management Committee that focuses on healthcare issues as they worked through this. So I will go ahead and move approval of this item. Discussion, seeing none, all in approval, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that item is approved. I'll note we've also been joined by Councilmember Palmisano. We will move on now to reports of committees. The first is Community Development and Regulatory Services with that Vice Chair, Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 16 items that are on the agenda for this Friday. The first is the Minneapolis Community Development Housekeeping Ordinance, which has 7 sections to it here on your agenda. I'd be happy to answer any questions. The second is modifications to the text to the TIF plans for TIF District 71. Third is Dog and Butterfly LLC doing business as the Bad Waitress, which is a liquor license. Number 4 is the Firehouse Performing Arts Center approving an application for doing business as Hook and Ladder Theater. Number 5 is for Glam Doll Donuts. 6 is Kabbalah & Co. doing businesses of Pump and Munch. 7 is Oedipals Investments. It's approving a series of different applications. 10 was a denial of an informa pauperis motion before the Minnesota Court of Appeals. We had forwarded the 2 previous items for the following committee meeting for Community Development and Reg Services. 11 is the conduit bonds policy. 12 is granting business licenses. 13 is a contract amendment with Regents. 14 is regulation of intentional communities ordinance, and 15 is decertification of 11 TIF districts. Finally, 15 is the business made simple food license requirements ordinance.
All right, thank you very much. And I'll just note we've been joined by Councilmember Goodman as well. Thank you. Next, we have Health, Environment, and Community Engagement with its chair, Councilmember Gordon.
On Friday, one is appointing the someone to the Public Health Advisory Committee. This is seat 7 for Ward 7. And the second item is accepting a grant from the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals for staff training of our animal care and control staff.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Gordon. Next, we have Intergovernmental Relations. We just hosted that committee. We have 2 items, which number 1 is an amendment to the airport consent decree, and the second is adoption of the 2017 legislative policy positions. I'm not seeing questions on that. Next, we have Public Safety, Civil Rights, and Emergency Management with its chair, Councilmember Yang.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We will have 4 items for approval on Friday. The first item is authorizing a joint powers agreement amongst cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester, Edina, and County of Dakota for the Minnesota Task Force 1 Urban Search and Rescue Team for a duration of 10 years. The second item is a contract amendment with HCMC EMS Education Division for EMS instruction for the MFD. The third item is grant training reimbursement for the Minnesota Board from the Minnesota Board of Firefighter Training and Education Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant. And the fourth item is a fire truck donation to the Firefighters Hall and Museum.
Thank you. Next, we have Transportation and Public Works with its chair, Councilmember Reich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee will be forwarding 11 items for consideration at the full council. The first 4 items are a series of actions regarding assessment rates. Item 5 is the Southwest LRT Project Subordinate Funding Agreement number 1 and modification as listed. Item 6 is the Northern Lights Express Joint Powers Agreements to continue with working with that group. The following items are referred to the Ways and Means Committee. Item 7 is the Anderson School Pedestrian Crossing Bikeway Project. Layout approvals. Item 8 is the funding agreement with the Mississippi Watershed Management Organization for some modeling. That's an enhancement to our baseline modeling that the department's doing at their expense. Item 9 is the 49th Avenue North and Queen Avenue North Bridges over Shingle Creek Project. It's a contract amendment with the group doing that work. Item 10 is the sanitary sewer cleaning contract amendment with Sewer Services Incorporated. And the last item is accepting the low bid for electronic communication systems for parking ramp intercom systems project. I'll stand for questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Reich. And I will note that Councilmember Quincy is attending the National League of Cities meeting on behalf of the city of Minneapolis. And in his absence, I'll give the Ways and Means report. Items 1 through 3 are legal settlements. Item 4 is a contract amendment. Item 5 and 6 are grant acceptances for youth engagement. Item number 7 is contract for commissioning services for a new East Side storage and maintenance facility. Item number 8 is termination of railroad easement on city-owned land. Item number 9 is authorizing a 3-year contract for security guard services for city facilities. Item number 10 is charter language amendment for the use of premiums received in a bond sale, and this is moving this item to the Charter Commission for their consideration, as is happens with our process. Item number 11 is contract amendment for ID card supplies and services. Item 12, a contract for 911 call handling. Item 13 is a contract amendment for Maximo software support. Item number 14, a contract amendment with OpenGov Inc. for budget and financial information sharing software. And finally, item number 15 is approval of a collective bargaining agreement with the Minneapolis Association of Fire Chiefs. And seeing no questions, we then move to zoning and planning with its chair, Councilmember Bender.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 4 items from zoning and planning this cycle. Item number 1 is a rezoning at 2900 Pleasant Avenue to allow for an apartment building there, a multifamily residential development. Item number 2 is also a rezoning for 2008 to 2018 Lindell Avenue, along with land use approvals for a new 6-story mixed-use building there. Item number 3 is passage of an ordinance adding a pedestrian-oriented overlay district to Hennepin Avenue South, Lindell Avenue South, Nicollet Avenue South, and Lake Street. And item number 4 is approving a rezoning study in the Lowry Hill East neighborhood. Can I answer any questions?
All right.
Happy Ward 10.
Thank you. I am not seeing questions. And with that, this committee has no further business, and we are adjourned. Thank you.